Hello, and welcome to another edition of On the Hill Media. I'm Fosi Weston, and today I have the candidate for District 21, Bryan Walker. How you doing?
Hey, good to see you.
You too. Now, Bryan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I was born in Georgia. I joined the Marine Corps after September 11th, spent 5 years in the Marine Corps, 2 years in the Army National Guard before I moved to Maryland. I lived in California for a little while, Hawaii for a little while, and while I was in, I made short trips here. Liked the area a lot, so when I finished with school, I relocated out here.
Okay. Now, we see that you're a libertarian.
Yes.
One of the few that are running this year for office. Can you give us a little bit insight of what a libertarian is about?
Well, first off, there are a few, but this is like one of the biggest ever for the Libertarian Party. So
Right.
it may seem like a few compared to the Republicans and Democrats, but everybody's real excited in the Libertarian Party. It's experiencing a lot of growth. The Libertarian Party is experiencing a lot of it because of the internet, right? It's an open forum, and the ideas aren't controlled by the two parties. So libertarians can get their message out, and social networking and that sort of stuff. I know right now the Libertarian Party Facebook page has about 20,000 more members than either the Republican or Democrat Party Facebook page. So, the message resonates with a lot of people. Now, what is the message? It's a message, obviously, of liberty, right? We differ from the Republicans and Democrats because, Republicans would say, we want you, we're going to lower taxes, we're going to give you, fewer regulations, that sort of stuff. So they kind of touch on financial liberty, but then again, the Republicans want to tell you, who you can marry, what you can smoke, They want to control vices, and we consider vices to be victimless crimes. Something that if it hurts anyone, only hurts you. And we think that everyone is an adult and everyone knows what makes them happy.
Right.
Right. And now Democrats, on the other hand, will tell you that, we're going to, legalize marijuana at least, or we're going to legalize gay marriage. But then again, so they have that social liberty platform to an extent. But then, on the other hand, they want to tax and they want to regulate, and they believe that business should be regulated further by the government. We believe that, your financial life and your social life, you should have liberty in both of those areas, and that you can't really have liberty in one without the other. Like the drug war. It costs a lot of money to fight the drug war. So that's, something that requires taxation in order to do. So that's, financial liberty. And then the social liberty part would be if you, want to go out and smoke marijuana, then another person shouldn't run up to you and snatch it out of your hand and throw you in jail. That's what we think.
Right. Now, I see on your website you definitely have that pretty much stated here on your website. Now, exactly how would you decriminalize it? How would you be able to regulate that type of formality? Okay.
Like if I was king of Maryland, right? First thing I would do is say, okay, it's legal, because not only am I for the legalization, I'm also for deregulation, right? So, if we threw a bunch of regulations on top of it, then it's not really completely legal, just like, say, firearms, right? They're legal, but it's not worth the trouble to go get one sometimes because of how many hoops you have to jump through to do it.
Right.
The whole point of this is to get rid of the black market, okay? The black market is something that's not good for anyone. The reason being, people who exchange goods on the black market, whether it be, prostitution, goods or services, prostitution, drugs, gambling, even some cigarettes come in on the black market, alcohol, things like that. The reason those markets are so violent is because those people can't go to small claims court, right? They can't say, hey, you stiffed me on this, shipment of weed, or you stiffed me on this shipment of coke, and I'm going to take you to court. Instead, they have to solve it themselves, right? So they take a gun out and they shoot somebody. So, you know, regulating something almost out of existence is just as bad as making it illegal. So you just have to say, hey, everyone, you're an adult. You know, most of you out there don't do drugs, not because it's illegal, but because you have better things to do with your time and you know that it's destructive. Okay? So you just have to say, you're an adult, take care of yourself, take care of your neighbor, and leave it at that. I wouldn't regulate it. I wouldn't, you know, this alcohol age. Okay, look, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds drinking alcohol. That's a form of a black market, right? However they get it. That person that's over 21 that goes and buys the alcohol and gives it back to them, and then they pay that person. That's a black market. You know, I don't see why someone should be able to go to Iraq or Afghanistan and take a bullet, but they can't drink. They can't enjoy the full, you know, privileges of being a human being.
Now, also, what about the gun control laws? What do you think that's going to do for us here?
Okay. I have a good one as far as gun control is concerned. If guns kill people, then spoons make people fat. Right?
Okay.
A person kills another person. Whatever tool they choose to use, whether it's, you know, pushing somebody off a building or hitting them in the head with a shovel or shooting them with a gun, is pretty much irrelevant. So to take guns away, it really doesn't solve the problem, because if you want to kill somebody, you're going to kill somebody.
Right.
You're going to take a knife. I mean, people kill people in jail when there are, you know, no weapons whatsoever. They find ways to shank people, you know, sharpen toothbrushes or whatever they do.
Right.
So in order to make people stop murdering each other, the solution isn't to take away guns. Also, I believe that every individual has a right to defend themselves.
Okay.
Okay. Like a little old lady, right? You want to deny a little old lady the right to have a pistol? I just don't understand. So I don't think there's any role for the government to regulate how people can defend themselves.
Right, that sounds like a good one. Now, let's talk about the economy for a second here. Now, we know the Maryland General Assembly next year has to make $1 billion in cuts. What do you think we need to do to make that successful?
Okay, $1 billion in cuts. You know, obviously I would advocate for as many cuts as possible. Okay. You know, I don't understand why. Have you ever gone to the gas station to get some gas, right? And you see that sticker on there that says, like, certified by the weights and measures or whatever? I've always wondered why we're spending money on something like that when, I mean, you know how big your gas tank is, right?
Right.
And you can multiply in your head the cost of each gallon of gas to see if they're ripping you off.
Right.
Same thing, you walk up with a 5-gallon jug, you fill it up and it says you put 6 gallons in, you're going to raise some red flags.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So all of this regulation, we just don't need it. That's just the main, you know, example that I see. What would we cut? We could cut education, fire, police. You know, those are the first ones that people say don't cut. I would cut across the board. I would cut social programs. I'd cut the governor's salary. I'd cut the House of Delegates' salary. I would cut all these bureaucracies. You know, my girlfriend works for a child care.
Right.
She works at a daycare. She's a child care provider. I would get rid of the Office of Child Care. All they do is make those people's lives miserable. Okay. And I don't see any benefit that couldn't be provided by the private sector. Okay. Parents are the ones they should be keeping happy, not the Office of Child Care. I mean, right here in Piney Orchard, they shut down Kitty Academy not too long ago, and then now they have, you know, Footprints, and Footprints is absolutely wonderful. I send my children there, and but the point was, you know, there was no daycare here in Piney Orchard for like a year.
Right.
For no other reason than they aggravated the Office of Child Care.
Right. Now, just to jump on that, now we do know we have a lot of small businesses here.
Right.
What do you think we need to do with the government to actually keep them here during this economy right now?
Okay. Now, I'm different from a lot of candidates that you'll see in that I don't like to divide small and large businesses. I believe they both create jobs. Okay? So I'm not going to run around and say small business, you know. I think there's some